Welcome back to the Coaching Crew Show. And man, did we just had one heck of a match. The match number 5. But before we go in to discuss it, let's introduce our special guest on today's show. He is a 2-time all-conference high school golf champion. He is a former golf assistant intern in Massachusetts. He is in the Coastal Carolina Professional Golf Management Program, and he can shoot under 82 on a rainy day. Longtime fan of the show, Jared Papa.
What's up, Luke? How are we doing today, man?
Good. How are you doing, bro?
Great. So that match that we just watched, that was a heck of a match by Brooks. He played an awesome match. He just wanted to absolutely dominate against Bryson.
So yeah, we had a WWE type storyline going on where Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks went on for since 2019. They've had a heated rivalry. This past spring, it really built up with some memes going around of Bryson, or not Brooks, my bad. And it really picked up. So now they actually faced one-on-one in a 12-hole match that ended around the 9th hole, I believe.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and discuss the backstory before we talk into what actually happened in the match, so all the viewers who are not too invested in golf can understand.
Yeah. So it all started, like Luke said, in 2019. It all started in Abu Dhabi when Bryson won on the European tour. He was talking about slow play. There was a lot of heated argument about how Bryson was playing and how he was taking too long on the golf course. And, Brooks at the Northern Trust, a few months later, he goes and says, I just go up and hit the ball. Some of these guys take forever to hit and use all these scientific to try to hit the ball. I just go up and hit it. So, people were a little bit like, did he just take a shot at Bryson? And then, it kept on going a little bit. People were starting to wonder a little bit and starting to, does
Just
Bryson
smack talk on and off the camera, behindhand, just backhanded insults to each other, back and forth for years, and going on between tournaments and years and months.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden at the PGA Championship this year in South Carolina, that interview took storm. I mean, I'm a golf fan. I love golf. I've been watching it forever. And to see something like that where Brooks was just so annoyed, so ticked off by Bryson, it was just like, oh my God, like, this is insane. Like, this can't be happening right now. Like, we have beef in golf. Like, this is so intriguing. I want to know more about their beef and everything. So
yes, that was right around last spring when Bryson was going to play with Aaron Rodgers in the match number 4 against Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady. So we had Brooksy tweeted out, Aaron Rodgers said, "I'm sorry for you." And Bryson responded to him saying, "I'm glad I live in your head rent free." They unofficially resolved the problem. Then some more drama happened where Bryson kept talking back to Brooks and just kept escalating on and on and on about some pictures with some abs and some 6-packs and who has some 6-packs and who are 2 trophies away from 6-packs. And it just escalated more to Bryson not want to play because there's ants on the field. And then Brooks being like, "Oh, there's an ant on the field. I can't play. Never mind." And he took his shot. So finally, we got to see our first ever WWE's type promo level of golf, which was very, very epic and much needed for the sport, just for attention all around. It was 1v1.
Oh,
yeah, go on.
no, it was insane because this is like the first time ever that there was actually a true rivalry happening right in the peak of it. They had the match with Tiger and Phil, but they already were resolved all their problems. They didn't really ever have problems, but, they finally respected each other. So it wasn't really like anything. It just was 2 guys playing golf. But this one was actually in the peak of, their rivalry and not wanting to play with each other. So this was a lot of like, who's going to win, who's going to talk trash the most. There wasn't a lot of trash talking, I could tell, but, Brooks had his little sly comments that he had in the match for sure, which I loved.
So, yeah, Brooks was the face in this, while Bryson DeChambeau was the heel. The thing that I liked the most about the match itself was Brooks went to win. He stepped on Bryson's throat and strangled him. He put him away as fast as he could. You could just tell he was ready to play. So if you did not watch the match, it usually goes till we were going to play 12 holes. Brooks won in 9, which is incredible. If you elaborate more on that, Jared.
No, yeah. So he started off right out of the gates. Just his determination. Whenever you see Brooks, Brooks had this thing a long time ago where, he doesn't really take a lot of golf tournaments seriously, especially the non-majors ones. He usually just, don't really care. I'm just looking for majors. But this match, you could tell he looked like he was in his major look. Like he looked like he wanted to kill and just put a beating on Bryson. So it was really cool to watch. Brooks was hitting the ball great. His driver was a little bit off the whole match, to be honest with you. But his approach shots to greens, the way he would scramble, his putting was ridiculous. I've never seen Brooks putt this well, like ever. I think Brooks putted great today. But Bryson, Bryson had some great drives though. At the same time, he has some 340 bombs out there. Like
so he came with 2 different drivers in his hand: his normal driver and a long driver that was almost an illegal driver to be played in the professional golf. Yes, which was crazy. He's put on 30 to 40 pounds of pure muscle as well. He was bombing his drives. But I don't know if you couldn't tell, he spent a lot of time on the range. He didn't spend much time practicing the greens. And that's what killed Bryson in his putts.
Yeah. I think Bryson did not spend a lot of time on the greens. I think Brooks knew that the only way to beat Bryson was on the greens. I think he knew his weakness, and he was like, you know what? I can take this guy on the greens. Brooks used to be that long bomber guy on the PGA Tour. And then Bryson started gaining weight and started, bombing balls. And, now Bryson's hitting it farther than Brooks. But, Brooks kind of took it the other opposite end. He wanted to beat him on the green and wanted to beat him on the short game for sure. And you really saw that today when, he was making some really great putts. I mean, his approach shots were great anyway. So he was already knocking it in within like 10, 12 feet of the hole whenever he made a birdie. So, but at the same time, though, he still putted great today. I think this was one of his best putting I've ever seen.
Clearly, his performance on the green won him the match. But like we said before, he was determined to win. He was locked in, and towards the end, he was not missing a shot whatsoever. Do you want to go over the scorecard of what Brooks shot to win?
Yeah, he won 4 and 3, and he did it pretty standard. He won on the second hole, had a great putt. Just
what?
A little.
How you doing?
Right? Like, just all around was great. Hole 5, he had 2 up. How you doing?
How you doing?
Again. Hole 6, how you
doing?
3 up. And then
how you doing? Crazy.
Hole 9, 4 up, 4 and 3. It was just too easy for him today. It was just a great performance by Brooks. I think Bryson he's still tinkering with a little bit of his irons right now. He said that during the match. He was saying how he's still trying to figure out his distances. But I'll be honest with you, I don't think that gives him any excuse at all. I think, Brooks just signed a great deal with Strixon. So Brooks is still figuring out his equipment as well. So Bryson saying that he's trying to figure out his distances and all that, I don't think that gives him any excuse at all, because Brooks is doing the same thing right now with Strixon. So I don't see any excuse on how Bryson played today.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but you met Brooks a few years ago after he won the U.S. Open in 2018. Can you elaborate on your conversation with him back then?
Yeah, it was great. I just saw him after he won the 2018 U.S. Open. He came to the Travelers. Didn't think he was going to play after he won a major, but he wanted to play the next week, so it was great. Great for Connecticut, great for all of us golf fans wanting to see a major champion. So, I got to see all access. I'm really big in volunteering at the Travelers, and, really got to see all the players a lot. And so, we were hanging out, getting ready. I was about to go out and do a loop with one of the pro golfers, and I saw Brooks, and I got to talk to him a little bit. And I was like, how do you do it? Like, how are you able to stay under pressure, like stay cool under pressure and not worry about it? And he was just like, You just got to take one shot at a time. Wherever the ball goes, I'm going to go try to find it, and I'm going to hit it again.
Hence the words, try to find it.
Exactly. He just has this cool, calm, collected, like nothing's wrong, nothing's happening. If he makes a double, who cares? He said to me, you're going to make some double bogeys in the US Open. You're just going to do it. But he was able to bounce back and make a lot of birdies at that US Open to win. And, he really told me that it's all about patience. And, I think that's why he does so good in the majors, because you have to have those patience, because they set all these golf courses up super hard that, Brooks or whoever that has the patience out there, they're able to succeed because they're not overthinking the golf course. They're literally just looking at hole by hole and what can I do to get a birdie or eagle or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So this was the 5th installment of the Capital One match series, where it's basically a donate to charity, a meal where they donate hundreds of millions of meals to charity. Who do you think's going to be the 6th match? This is the first one without Phil Mickelson. Is Phil Mickelson coming back? Are they bringing back another professional sport athlete to a scramble? What do you think is going to happen?
To be honest, dude, after hearing this match today with Phil talking and commentating, I see a Phil and Brooks match. Phil was giving him a lot of heat today, Brooks, and I think Brooks wants to take Phil on. I think Brooks is gonna beat Phil. I'm a lefty. I love Phil, but at the same time, though, Brooks just has this one-on-one. I'm gonna beat you, and you better come swinging, because there's no holding back with Brooks. So, I could see a Brooks-Phil matchup. I could also see another one of those, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. Could be Steph Curry involved with that as well.
Charles Barkley. Yeah.
Charles Barkley, maybe, but I don't know. I think it could be something like that again, but either the 6th one or 7th one, I think it could be Brooks and Phil, because today was pretty shocking to hear some of the stuff that Phil was saying and talking trash to Brooks. And, I don't think Brooks really liked that by Phil. So who knows? But it was a great match to see. And I think this was probably the best Capital One match we have seen so far.
I fully agree. And that's with the Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady show that it was put on earlier this spring, which was incredible. This has been an episode of the Coaching Crew Show. You can follow us on Twitter at Coach Crew Show. Tweet us. Let's start a hashtag. Let's get the Crew Nation on. Hashtag Coach Crew Show. Please subscribe, like this account, and we'll see you next time on the Coaching Crew Show.